one of the most non-versatile builds in all of Destiny, with its insane ability to give you all of your class ability back. You will die a lot, and it's non-versatile and gives you no stat bumps whatsoever. You are going to want to know the fine details about how this build works in its entirety. You have horrible ad control, the worst stats you've ever seen in a build, insane ability regeneration, and the ability to stun all the champions in the game without needing a weapon. This is going to make Nightfalls and Lost Sectors even harder to run and will make the game an absolute slog. But before we get into the rest of the video, I will not be giving away this emblem. I am simply showing it on the screen to make you think that I will. So, if you subscribe, you like the video, comment, I will do nothing and you will not receive it. So, in order to get into this build and everything it does, we are first going to have to talk about my sponsor for today. This image of a blurry picture of a cat. Now, this cat sponsored this video. You will not find the build down in the description below. There is no link for it. So if you want to know how the build works, you are going to have to watch the full video. Now, the first piece of this build are Duskfield grenades, which you chuck them out, they leave this massive little orb around, and they will freeze and slow things on the inside. And here is what it looks like when it does. It goes down, bubble is made, and it sits there for a while. Now, this is not the only way you are going to be freezing and slowing enemies in this build. In fact, one of the main pieces of this build are the Withering Blades. You toss a Stasis Shuriken at a target and it'll damage and slow them. These bounce between enemies, and they are very great at comboing with your dodge and Duskfields to generate shards and freeze enemies on impact. Now, the third piece of this build is the Marksman's Dodge. You dodge to perform an evasive maneuver with a steady hand. Dodging automatically reloads your weapon. Now, this is paramount to this build because this build is all about your dodge, spamming your dodge, getting your dodge back, and what exotic could be used for your dodge other than the new Speed Loader Slacks. Dodging boosts reload speed, handling, and airborne effectiveness for you and nearby allies. The buff is active, final blows, and additional dodges increase the buff strength and refresh the timer. This is absolutely fantastic for this build because we are going to be dodging constantly, and these buffs will go great with the rest of the build, making it flow perfect all the way through. With these three things combined, the Shuriken, Duskfield, and Speed Loader Slacks dodging with Marksman, you will have a all-around kit to, master Stasis in all activities. Now you're probably thinking, why not use Renewal Grasps on Stasis? Well, the answer is Bungie absolutely hates Renewal Grasps and nerfed them 7 times in a row, making them recharge slower than your super ability. The first aspect that will tie this build together is Grim Harvest. Defeating slowed or frozen combatants creates stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. This works fantastic on Hunter Stasis, and it is borderline mandatory for it. Killing any enemy with any of your abilities or Headstone, Chill Clip will make these shards, and they work well with the Fragments that we are going to get to later, and passively give you that solid 10 to 15% melee energy. So, the second aspect, Winter Shroud. Dodging slows nearby targets. This is the bread and butter of the build, and why we are using Speed Loader Slacks with it. You are going to dodge near an enemy, gives them the slow debuff, which allows them to then create stasis shards. Then we use Whisper of Hunger. You increase the melee energy gained from picking up stasis shards. So that's very simple. Hit an enemy with your shuriken, they freeze, gives you a shard, gives you more melee energy from it. The next fragment is Whisper of Fractures. Your melee recharges faster when you are near 2 or more targets. This is a considerable regeneration speed and works well while we are dodging near enemies. Whisper of Refraction. Defeating slowed or frozen targets grants you class ability energy. Dodge, enemies are slowed, kill them, get your dodge back. Simple. The next one is Whisper of Rhyme. Collecting a stasis shard grants overshield and health. This one is a no-brainer. Just doing what you do gives you health and overshield. The last one is Whisper of Durance. Slow from your abilities lasts longer, and those abilities that linger, the dusk fields and such, will increase their duration. It's usually around 6 seconds, and it affects your dusk fields and your super, and the freeze. Now, the mods for this build are going to be pretty simple, starting from the helmet down. For the helmet, you are going to want to use Dynamo. Simply, you dodge near enemies, you get more super, easy. For the gauntlets, we have Bolstering and Focusing Strike, so, you flow easier with your abilities, you get more class ability to dodge more. Chestplate, you just want to put resilience mods that keep you safe when near enemies, because that's what you're going to be all the time. Orbs that give you back your ability energy for your dodge, and Reaper with utility kickstart to, get your dodge back faster. So this build works fantastically for every single thing in the game. And one of the biggest things that people don't realize when they're using Stasis or thinking of using a Stasis build is, champions. Stasis can freeze all 3 champion types. The slow takes care of overloads, the freeze takes care of unstops, and the freeze also takes care of anti-barrier champions, because why not, right? So for the last part of this video, I am just going to give a quick play-by-play on how this build works and how everything combines together. Just makes a good playstyle. So you dodge near an enemy, they are now slowed, you get your speed loader slacks buff, and if you hit them with your melee or your grenade, you get your dodge back immediately because of the fragment that gives you your dodge cooldown back when you kill slowed or frozen combatants. And they create shards, which also grant more melee ability energy because of the other fragment, which allows you to have both infinite melees and infinite dodges, which also equals infinite freeze and infinite slow. So in close quarters combat, this is a very beatable build. Tons of other builds can do what this build does way better, and it's just the fact that Stasis is absolutely garbage, and any build that you see that says that Stasis can be good in endgame is simply lying to you. And currently, we are just going to have to wait for Bungie to update Stasis so that we can use it in higher end activities. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.